Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel. Thank you for tuning in, and today's video is going to be a spooky holiday time story. So if this is something that you're interested in watching and you want to hear Maria's story, continue watching the video. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Let your heart be light. Maria could hear her mom downstairs singing from the kitchen, once again another holiday tune that she was so tired of hearing. By this time, Maria was over Christmas and everything that had to deal with it, and her mom literally was one of those that threw up Christmas every single year. Each morning, she would come in Maria's room singing different songs or different tunes, and yet and all today, Maria was sacrificed because her mom started singing from downstairs. Maria, come down here, come sing. Maria just rolled her eyes and was like, here we go again. Ma, I really don't feel like singing today. Can we please not sing any more tunes? And Maria's mom hollered. She was like, no, come here. We need to sing. We need to sing. We need to bring in Christmas. It's such a beautiful day. It's such a beautiful holiday. Maria, just come downstairs. Come down. And so Maria sighed, and she looked over and rolled at her clock to see what time it was. And it was literally 7 o'clock in the morning. And Maria thought to herself, really? Did she really wake me up at this time? So she threw off her covers, threw on her robe, and went downstairs to meet with her mom. She could see her mom rummaging through the cabinets, basically looking for what she wanted to prepare for breakfast that morning. And she was also telling Maria, like, can you please go over the list to make sure I have all the things that I need in order to prepare our Christmas dinner? And so Maria just kind of skimmed over the list, and she was like, okay, whatever, Ma. Yeah, we got it. We got everything we need. We've checked this list about 10, 20 times. And I know that everything that's needed for tomorrow's Christmas dinner is on the list. So Maria's mom just kind of looked at her and was just like, oh, here we go. Okay, well, I'm trusting you and I'm trusting your opinion. And so they went on about their day, and Maria was so happy that she was finally able to get out of the house to go visit her friends and hang out, different things like that, before the Christmas holiday, because she knew on the day of Christmas she would be stuck in the house all day with her mom. And so the day went on, and the next morning came, and Maria heard her mom hollering from downstairs, Maria, I'm missing this spice. I can't cook I can't cook or bake without this spice. And Maria was like, what's going on? What's going on? I checked the list. And she was like, no, you didn't, Maria. You didn't check the list. I'm missing a certain spice, and I need for you to go to the store and get it. And Maria was like, Ma, you know all the stores are closed. It's Christmas. And her mom was like, no, there's a particular store downtown that you need to go. And the name of the store is Miss Mary's shop. You need to go to Miss Mary's shop. Miss Mary carries it all. She's open. Trust me, she's open. So Maria sighed and huffed and puffed, and she was like, really, Ma? Are you really going to send me to the store on Christmas? Maria just looked at her and was like, Maria's mom just looked at her and was like, go. So Maria threw on her coat and went ahead onto Miss Mary's store, looking for this particular spice that was apparently not listed on. So once Maria got to the store, she just kind of looked around because she had never been inside there at all before. And so she looked around, was looking at the different types of food that was in the store, the different type of spices she had never seen before. And she ran into Miss Mary. Miss Mary asked her how she was doing. She asked her what she was looking for, and Maria gave her the information. So Miss Mary just directed her to which aisle she could find the spice down. So as Maria was walking down towards the aisle, she kind of noticed that there was a person standing down at the end of one of the other aisles, which basically caught her attention. And so she was looking, and it was this old woman, but it wasn't Miss Mary. And the old woman was just sitting there, smiling at her, and she went like this at Maria. And Maria was just kind of like, hi, and she kept on going, and found the spice and needed what she needed to, to pick up for her mom. So it's like when she went past that aisle again, the woman was still there, just sitting there smiling at her. And Maria just kind of looked and just went on about her business. So as she got home, she was able to give the spice to her mom, and her mom was able to prepare what it was needed for their particular Christmas dinner. But later that night, as Maria was looking out the window, wishing she was not there, she happened to see the same old lady out in her yard. And she was just kind of like looking like, how does this person know where I live? Like, how did she get here? And the lady was just sitting there smiling and waved again at Maria. And Maria was just kind of like, Mama, come look, come look, come look. And her mom was just like, Maria, I'm busy cooking. What is it? What is it? And she was like, Ma, there's a lady that followed me home from the store. Come look. And so Maria's mom came up to Maria and was like, Maria, are we really doing this? And she looked out the window and there was nobody there. So Maria was just like, Ma, I promise you there was somebody standing there. It was an old lady. She was waving at me and she was saying hello. And so Maria's mom just looked at her and she was like, sweetie, I understand you're tired. Maybe you need to go down and, go and lay down and rest a little bit before we open our gifts and have our big Christmas celebration. And Maria just looked at her mom and she was like, I'm not crazy. I'm not sleepy. I saw someone out there. So Maria was just standing there looking out the window, waiting to see if that woman would appear again. And so she sat there for like about a good 20 minutes, just looking out the window, waiting to see if this old woman was going to come across and appear again to her so she could tell her mom that this lady followed her home. So as the day went on, they went ahead, Maria and her mom ate dinner, opened gifts, had a very good time together, just shared different stories of reminiscing of Christmas past, of family members, and those that had also loved ones that had passed on as well. But later that night, as Maria was getting ready to go to bed, she was like, well, I'm going to peep out the window again just to see, because she was still feeling a little bit uneasy about the old woman who she had saw. So she peeped out the window and she didn't see anything. All she saw was the usual trees, backyard. And so Maria went ahead and went on to sleep. So the next day when she woke up, she of course heard her mom rummaging through the kitchen and yelling upstairs to her for her to come down and eat breakfast. But this time when Maria's mom was calling her down, she was letting her know that she has a very special guest who she would like to meet. So please hurry up and come downstairs. So Maria was thinking, oh Lord, my mama's done brought somebody else over here. What man has she brought over here now? So as she was going downstairs, she stopped midway and she was in such shock because the person that was sitting downstairs was the old woman. Maria was just standing there like looking at this woman and then she looked at her mom. She was just like, did you really let her in? Like, who is this woman? This is the woman I was talking about. This was all going on in Maria's head. Come down, Maria, sit down at the table and have lunch with this lady. She's a very nice lady. Stop being rude. So Maria just kind of slowly walked down and she sat across from the lady, and the lady was giving that same weird look and smile. She just smiled and looked at her and was like, and Maria looked at her. She's like, can you not talk? And the lady was like, yes, of course I can talk. But do I really need to talk? Or is it you that should be talking to me? And Maria was just kind of like, what? She looked at her mom, but apparently her mom didn't hear nothing that the old woman was saying to her. And she was like, are you talking to me? Like, why are you talking to me like that? You're in my house. You can talk to me and you can speak to me. And the old lady was like, well, I'm speaking to you now. What else more do you want? Maria was just kind of like, oh, here we go. A crazy old woman my mom has invited inside. And now she's sitting here talking to me. And apparently my mom cannot hear. And so Maria just went on about her eating her breakfast and kept eyeing the woman while she was eating her food, just watching her. And the old woman was sitting there nice and politely eating her food, very kind, very demure. She was eating it and enjoying every morsel of it. And when she finished eating, she got up and she just walked out the door. Maria watched her, and then she looked at her mom. She's like, Ma, the lady left. Did you see? You're not going to say bye? And Maria's mom was just kind of like, what lady? And Maria was like, what? She's like, you didn't see the lady that was just sitting down and having breakfast with us? And Maria's mom was kind of like, Maria, sweetie, are you okay? What lady are you talking about? And Maria was just like, Ma, never mind. Just never mind. And so she went on, ran back upstairs to her room and did about her little, teenage things that all teenagers like to do or whatever. So it's like later that night, as Maria was taking the trash out, she happened to run into the old woman again. But this time, the old woman came up to her and she was like, I have a gift for you. And Maria was like, stay away, get away. I don't know you. You're crazy. Stay away. And it's like to the point where Maria was like kind of yelling and screaming, hoping that her mom would hear her. But of course, her mom did not hear anything. And the old lady was like, well, there's no reason for you to be yelling or screaming because I'm not here to hurt you. I'm here to give you a gift. You need to take this gift. And Maria was just like, well, what kind of gift is it? And the lady was like, here. So in her pocket, she pulled out a little bag and it was filled with different jewels. And she handed it to Maria and she's like, here, this is the gift for you. This is the gift that keeps on giving. So Maria asked her, she was like, well, what do you mean as far as by the gift that keeps on giving? Like, am I supposed to give it to other people? Or what exactly is it that you're talking about? I don't understand and I need to know before I accept. And the old lady was just like, this is the gift that keeps on giving. I'm giving it to you. So Maria slowly took the gift from the lady and she just kind of looked at it. And when she opened it, it was like all the crystals just started illuminating various colors to the point where it was so bright that all Maria could see was just a light. And when the brightness finally dimmed down, Maria looked up to ask the lady another question, but the old woman was gone. And so she looked around and she was just kind of like, well, where did this woman go? Like, what happened? And so Maria was just like, okay. She took the gift, put the satchel, if I can talk, put the satchel in her pocket and went back on in the house. And so as Maria went up to her room, she opened the satchel one more time, but this time when she opened it, it was completely empty. And so Maria was just kind of like, well, what is going on? Like, what, I'm so confused. What is going on? And so she felt a little tingle at the top of her head. And she was like, what, she kind of touched her head because it kind of felt like as if something was like crawling in her head. So nervously, she got up, she went to the bathroom. And when she saw herself, she saw that her hair was completely gray. And so she started screaming and hollering, like, what's going on with my hair? But it was like her mom could not hear her, no matter how much she was screaming or hollering. And Maria just kind of was shocked, was looking at herself like, my hair is gray, like my hair is ice silver gray. And then the next thing, she started looking at her hands and she noticed that her hands had become very wrinkled and she no longer had the youthful look to her hands. So, but at this point, Maria was freaking out. She was like, what is going on? What is going on? She started looking at her body. Her body looked completely different. She noticed that her boobs were hanging lower. She noticed that the skin was more saggy. And then when she looked back up at her face in the mirror, she realized that her face had turned old. And Maria was like, oh my gosh, what is going on? What is going on? And so she ran to the window to see if she could see the old lady still out there. And next thing you know, when she looked out the window, she saw herself standing out there outside looking in at her. But yet when she saw herself, she saw how she usually is, her younger self. But when she was looking at herself, as far as what she saw in the mirror, Maria looked exactly like how the old woman looked. And so Maria was like, what is going on? Like, why did you give this to me? What is going on? And as she was looking at her younger self, well, her old self basically, or herself, we can say, herself said back to her, I hope I'm not confusing you guys. She said back to her, she was like, well, I gave you the gift that keeps on giving. So now you have to give the gift. And Maria was looking at her like, are you crazy? Are you crazy? And she started crying and she was wiping her tears and she was just very upset. And she was looking at her hands and it's just like she was just trying to, everything was old. She couldn't materialize exactly what was going on, but she did know that she had accepted the gift from this old woman. And this was the gift that keeps on giving. So therefore, in order for her to continue the giving or to get her youth back or to get particularly someone else's youth, she had to keep on giving the gift. So that's the end of this story, and I hope you all enjoyed it. Of course, if you have any questions or comments, or if you have any stories that you would like for me to share personally of yours, go ahead and email me. I have my email in the description box, so you can go ahead and contact me in the description box below. But I thank you guys for tuning into the short little spooky time story, and I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.